At the beginning, there's a Zawaki.
Gosh, I got a weird button, so I record to this computer. Sorry.
Recording in progress.
Ready?
Sorry about that, Jamie.
Okay, let's rock and roll. Good evening. Welcome to the Protection Policy Committee for Monday, October 23rd, 2023. It is now 6 p.m. We'll do roll call. Alder Morgan. Present. Alder Grant.
Present.
Alder Scannell.
Present.
Alder Stevens. We're all here. On to approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nay. Ayes have it. All right, we'll take approval of the minutes for October 9th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Okay, so everything that's discussed tonight goes to Common Council for final approval, which will be November 7th at 6 p.m. On to regular business, item number 1, consideration possible action on appeal by Michael and Patty Zawalski at 1509 Creekside Lane for $300 in reinspection fees. Which attorney would like to get comment?
Thank you for.
Should we check if they're? I'm sorry. Should we check if they're on Zoom because they're not in the room?
Are you Patty?
No.
And is Patty or Michael Zawicki online today with us? And if Patty or Michael Zawicki is online with us today, if you could just unmute yourselves to let us know that you're here.
I am here.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right, Morgan.
All right, we're going to proceed with this. This is a matter that is before the Protection and Policy Committee, and at this time, this is the first available meeting after the filing of the Zawicki's appeal to have their reinspection fees assessed, their property waived or reduced. This will be a quasi-judicial matter. Before proceeding, I need to ask the board a couple of questions because it is the goal of the Protection and Policy Committee to provide a hearing that is fair in form, appearance, and substance. To ensure that this hearing satisfies these goals, each member of the committee please confirm the following by saying, "I confirm." I do not have conflict of interest in this matter.
I confirm. I confirm.
I'm confirmed.
Thank you. And second, I have not received any communication from any person or party about this matter.
I confirm.
I have not.
I confirm.
I have not.
Thank you. So a decision is going to be made based upon the testimony tonight and based upon the Green Bay Municipal Code. And at this time, Michael and Patty Zawicki's appeal documents have been submitted into the record. The committee will hear from both parties before issuing its decision in this matter, and both sides will have 5 minutes to present their arguments, beginning with staff. Each speaker will be sworn in before testimony is given. Throughout this process, the committee members are free to ask any questions of any speaker, and speakers are reminded to answer the questions asked and are not to engage in debate with the committee members. Following these arguments, the committee will deliberate and make motions as appropriate. Before getting into any arguments, I would like to ask if either party has any witnesses to present to this committee.
I do not.
Okay. Does Michael have any witnesses? Okay. Okay. We will start with staff. You will have 5 minutes to present your argument. If you would like to step up, I'll swear you in. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Paul Van Kelster, Chief Building Official for the City of Green Bay, 337 Queens Court in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Thank you. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So I'll hand this out. I didn't get it in time for the packet, but it's just a real quick summary of what transpires. I'll expedite the discussion, my discussion. So this goes back to October of last year. And then Eric went out, the inspector went out there as soon as he got the complaint, talked to Patty. Patty said she'd come down to the city and pull the permit. So we let it ride for about 2.5 months. She didn't pull the permit and saw nothing, so he issued the orders in January of this year, asked for a completion within a week and a half of just pulling the permit. Nothing happened, so he issued the first reinspection fee on the 31st of March, which was a Friday. Another one on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, which is our protocol to get response and action from people when we're trying to get results. Patty emailed the permit in on the 5th, so likely she didn't get the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th because it went through snail mail instead of through email. So she sent it in on the 5th. We issued the permit on the 6th. The inspection was done on the 10th, and the case was closed on the 10th. That was for the complaint and for the permit itself. So the outstanding fees are $300, but my recommendation would be to eliminate the last 3 because they probably didn't get there. She probably got the one on Friday, 31st, and pulled that fee of $75.
So eliminate the last 3, so basically cutting it in half?
3/4.
3/4, or
Yeah.
70?
Because it was $300, and I'll just charge $75.
Ah, oh,
I think that's fair based on snail mail.
I see.
But it did take that invoice for her to make that call, or not make the call, actually email in the permit.
Okay.
Any questions?
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Nope.
No.
Next, we're going to move on to the appellant. I believe that Michael is online. I'm wondering if he's able to turn on his camera. Just give him a minute here.
He's still muted.
Mr. Zawicki, if you're online, can you respond, please?
Yeah, I'm here. I was told that I needed to sign up if I was going to speak, so I just assumed that I was just here to listen. I didn't realize I would be talking.
Well, we're conducting our quasi-judicial hearing right now. This would be your opportunity to present your position in this matter. Are you prepared to move forward?
I thought my wife had sent everything in.
So it's got
I
nothing to-
believe that your wife did send in some
Yeah.
documents. We've submitted those into the record. I do believe that, this is your time to have more of an oral argument. I believe if you wanted to rest your case on the documents submitted by Patty, you could do that, but this would be your opportunity to speak to the committee right now. Is that something you're interested in proceeding with?
I guess I really wasn't prepared to be speaking. She's not here. She's coaching basketball, so
And I totally respect that. All I would have to do is swear you in, and you can discuss this if you'd like. That's the only hurdle, is I just have to swear you in.
okay, sure.
Okay. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Michael Zawacki, 1509 Creekside Lane, Green Bay, Wisconsin.
And do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Okay. At this time, you can state anything you'd like to the committee. You can make your position known or your arguments. I understand that this isn't what you were expecting, but I'm just trying to outline that this is your opportunity to speak to the committee.
I guess I don't remember everything that she sent in. I mean, I know we're initially disputing the $300. I know that the reason why he was out there is because someone complained. It was a different matter, but they knew that we didn't pull a permit for our patio, so they filed a complaint, and I know the gentleman came out here. I can't remember if I was home, Eric. I know he was out here, he looked at it. And from what I remember, he said they were going to send us some documentation in the mail. I didn't realize that we had to physically go down there and pull a permit. I think we were waiting for something in the mail. And then, to the best of my recollection, nothing came, for quite some time. And then I know that she had got that letter or memo in April. So I guess I honestly don't know everything that she put in the email. So.
And we do have that email as part of the as evidence for the file. So you certainly can expand upon more, or can refer the committee to the testimony or the document that your wife has sent in. So that's an option as well.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly what was in there. Like I said, I guess I wasn't expecting to be talking. I was told that I needed to sign up to speak, and if I didn't, that I would just be observing the meeting.
Well, we appreciate your participation still.
I have no questions, Mr. Zawacki.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, you can go first.
for it.
I just had a question. A letter was mailed to you in January. Are you aware if she received that?
Was that the letter for the original inspection fee?
No, that was for the not having pulled a permit. It was the first order on that complaint to pull a permit.
That I am not aware of.
Okay, that's my question.
And when you did the work originally, what was the reason for not getting a permit at the time?
I honestly don't know. We had the work done on the side, and it just didn't do it. It's just something that I just didn't think of, and I just did. I don't really have an excuse for it.
Okay, and do you understand how this process works on why you were given the fees?
Yeah, I understand that somebody had to come out here and inspect it. So he came out after the job was completed and determined that we did indeed have a patio installed. The patio was already done.
Right.
But you were saying that he had to come back out here on the 10th? I'm not sure why he would have to come back out on the 10th.
No, the fees aren't for the inspection itself. The fees are, you were, in January, you got the email to pull a permit, and
right.
You failed to do so, and when staff is not getting any communication or any compliance, that's when the fees start, to get your attention, to get you into compliance. That's what the fees are all about. They're not having to do with the inspection. They're having to do with not following the orders given.
Right.
And to get your attention, to get you going on the orders.
So when he came out here, we fully understood that we were going to have to pay the permit that we did not take out.
Right.
Then we were told that it might be double what it normally is, and that was fine. I think we were waiting. We fully planned on paying, which we already paid it anyway, but we were planning on paying it. I don't think we received anything, and if we did, I don't know what happened to it, but I think that's why it took so long. So I think we were waiting for something in the mail instead of actually having to come down and pull it. I think we were under the assumption that we were going to get something in the mail.
Okay, and they received an email?
The orders would have came on the 5th, would have came through the mail.
Okay.
And then all the invoices for reinspection fees came through the mail as well.
Okay.
So the issue was, so he came out in October, so after he came out, we were supposed to physically go down and pull a permit. That's what you're telling me?
No, that's not what I'm telling you. I'm saying that he was there on the 10th and said that you needed a permit for the work, and all that you can do online. You can pull the permit online and do all the paperwork online.
I guess what letter or what mail was I told that I would be getting in the mail?
I'm going to step in here just for a moment. We should try to avoid in having all parties talk at once. This really should be an opportunity for Mr. Zawicki to present his case. If you have questions for staff, we could go for a rebuttal opportunity for staff to have some comments on this, but just trying to keep the focus here one side at a time.
Okay. Well, I want to make sure he understands what the fees constitute, that he understands the process, so that, because if he understands that, his reaction to how he should proceed, or if they even want to proceed, may be different. So that's why I wanted to make sure he understood why inspections kept hitting him with $75 reinspection fees, which means whatever orders were given were not being followed. And that's the purpose of the reinspection fee. It's not necessarily coming out, it's that orders aren't, the permit wasn't pulled, and staff was waiting and waiting and waiting.
I understand. Okay, I understand.
Okay.
I have one question. You had the work done. I assume you had to have had a contractor do this?
Well, not necessarily. He was somebody that works for a concrete company and then does the work on the side. So he didn't own an actual business.
At any time, was there any discussion between you and him about if you had a permit or not?
No, there was not.
Thank you.
Not for him, just one for staff, or I suppose either one. Did they pay the original, or did they pay double the permit?
Double.
They did pay double.
Which is standard. When the work is done before the permit's pulled,
Right.
charge a double fee.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we were just waiting for something in the mail. We knew that we were going to have to pay double, and we did. It didn't happen until April, and obviously it should have happened sooner. So,
Okay.
So all the reinspection fees were because the permit wasn't pulled. Okay.
Yep. Is there a reason why it took so long after you were informed you needed to do that you didn't?
Because when he was out here in October, he looked at it, which it consisted of about a minute, walked back in the front of our house, rang our doorbell, said yes, just here verifying that, work was done, that, and then all I remember is we're going to be sending you some sort of letter in the mail. And that, I don't know when that letter came, but it didn't come very fast. I don't ever remember him saying, I need you to go down and pull a permit. I thought some sort of paper was coming in the mail. So there was no, I wasn't trying to purposely not pay for the permit, or pull the permit, I should say. I think we were waiting for something and it just never came.
Well, your first notice in the mail, didn't that tell you needed a permit?
Can you tell me when the notice was sent?
January 5th.
January 5th.
So that's 2 months. It was 2 months after he came. We were just waiting for something in the mail, and it didn't come. So yeah, as far as January, I don't know. I don't remember getting that that in the mail, and maybe we did and overlooked it, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have that paper from January.
Okay. Well, that's the date where all the action starts then. That's where staff expects you to pull the permit and they're waiting and
Okay.
they didn't hear from you. And that's then when the reinspection fees or the fees for not being in compliance, not really necessarily coming out
Okay.
re-inspecting, started kicking in.
Okay. So I think, I mean, from what I can kind of remember from her email was that I know she was in discussion with somebody who had said that the fees were paid, the permit fees, the matter was closed. I think that's why we were appealing, because we're trying to figure out, okay, you know, the matter's closed, why do we have to pay $300?
And that's the reason, because compliance took so long and staff, you know, that takes staff's time, then the longer this gets dragged out, that takes more staff time. And that's the whole purpose of the reinspection fees, is to speed things along. And
Right.
it's a process we've put in place to help staff and to also help our constituents hopefully understand what's going on and what they need to do, and that they need to be in communication with staff to make sure the work is getting done. Otherwise, there are people, you know, who try to scam the city.
Right.
Any other questions?
Seeing that there's no further questions, staff will have an opportunity to present a rebuttal of sorts if they would like to respond to any other questions.
I have nothing to add.
Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
Was the work done properly to pass inspection?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what they went out on the 10th and verified with the site plan, and then observed the patio, concrete patio.
Thank you.
I just have a really quick question. I don't know if it really matters too much. I saw that the complaint was filed in October, but on your second sheet where it actually shows the inspector activity, the first activity is on January 5th that said went to property and saw that there was a patio installed. Didn't that take place in October?
Yeah, it did. So I don't know why that date
Okay.
is on there. That's the date he entered the order. So my hunch is he put that in when he was entering the order, but he actually went on the 10th, and that's what I'm talking
Okay.
about.
I just wanted to make sure that
Yep.
because if January was the first, then I can see a difference in, okay.
But even with the January
Oh, for
mailing,
sure.
we still had 2 months to
Yep.
get the permit in.
Yep. I agree.
Any other questions?
Nope.
We will give Mrs. Zawicki one last opportunity for rebuttal as well, for a brief opportunity if there's anything else to say, given that staff also had an opportunity. Is there anything?
The only thing I guess I know that, do you have that email there where she had spoken, I can't remember the name, was there an Andy or somebody about, you know, the fees were paid up, everything, this matter was closed. Like, how come at that time he didn't say, you know, you know, it's not closed because you still owe at minimum a $75 reinspection?
Mr. Zawicki, I believe that this is your opportunity to present your testimony. I understand that's a question, but I don't know if that's something that the committee necessarily can answer.
Okay. Well, I mean, okay, I guess I don't really have anything else to say.
Can I ask a question this time?
Staff.
Yeah. Is it standard that when we close out a work item that any fees lingering out there, we let them know?
No,
Okay.
it's not. And the other part of that is we're talking 2 different things. One is the permit and one is a complaint. So
Okay.
when it was inquired of, it was the permit that was closed out, but this other issue was still out there.
Okay.
And that's not uncommon on a lot of properties where there's this and this going on. They don't try and cover the bases because they don't usually know the detail of the
Okay.
other versus the one they're working on.
You saying the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing?
It's more complicated than that, yes. They could read it, but there'd be a whole bunch of questions.
Right.
If there's no further questions, then the committee is free to deliberate.
May I agree with staff's recommendation?
I do too.
I mean, with mail time, by the time they got it, they did act. I understand it was, 4 months later, but as soon as that went out, they took action, and if that's what staff recommends, I'll agree with that.
Would you like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept Paul Van Callister's suggestion that we lower the fees to the $175 fee.
That's your motion?
That's my motion.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All the grand. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Good.
So
So
do we
then-
need to know what steps that they have to do?
He understands he needs to still, he
Do we
still
have to
owes
tell them what
$75.
steps he has to do now?
Sorry, say it again?
Do we have to let the resident know what steps have to be done now?
We can let them know.
It has to be approved at council.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So Michael, you still there?
Yes,
So, did you understand what the committee just did?
I did.
Okay, yeah, we reduced it to $75. It'll go to Common Council November 7th for final approval.
Okay.
And once that happens, you'll be getting another letter in the mail?
No, it'll roll to taxes unless paid by, it's going to be rolling onto taxes.
So I can take preemptive action, because that's a cluster, when you gotta get it off the taxes, and I'll eliminate the 3 right now. And if council denies it, or then, say, reduces it to the last 75, then we'll have to go through the process to take it off the taxes. So this way, it's much easier for him, for Mike, to pay the $75, get it before it goes on the taxes.
Right, but he won't be getting an invoice or anything, he just
No.
needs to pay the 75. come
Yes,
in.
I'm not the finance department, so I can't speak for the final date that we can take invoices, but if it's the end of October, we would still get it paid, so it would not, the $75 will not go on taxes if it's paid by the end of October.
Well, this won't go to council till November, though.
Right, that's why it's best if Mike pays the 75
Gotcha.
now, and then clears up the mess that way, and then let it get approved by council. If they deny it, I can always charge it again, if you will.
Mhm.
Or if they get rid of that last 75, then I'll work with Jamie to take it off the taxes.
Okay, did you
Just a
understand
much harder
that?
step.
Yeah.
Mr. Zawicki, did you understand all that?
It's a wacky actually, and yes, I did.
Okay, so if you pay the 75 before October, end of October, it will not go on your tax bill. And this has not been approved by the full council yet, but they're giving you the opportunity to clear this up and avoid having it going on your taxes. You also have the right to speak at the council meeting if we open it up to the public, if you want to discuss it further.
Okay, now how do I go about paying that? Do I have to come down and pay it?
You can either mail payment to the Green Bay City Clerk's office. It should state on your statement our address, or you could come to the clerk's office during business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30 to pay for it. We take cash or check with no fee, or a card with a swipe fee.
Okay, yeah, I'll probably stop in.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, staff.
Thanks, Paul.
Ready? Okay, number 2, consideration with possible action or request by Rocky's LLC, what is that?
Taqueria?
Taqueria.
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 LLC at 1679 Main Street for an extension to the assurance of their Class B liquor and Class B beer license to December 20th, 2023, due to new hood installation for the kitchen.
I have no objections to this one, especially in light of that this is a reserve license.
This one is not.
No, this one isn't a reserve license?
No.
I don't have an objection. However, if this isn't a reserve license, we should discuss the issue of extensions together. Sorry, I apologize. I thought we had a reserve license on the list.
It's number 6.
It's number 6, thank you. So numbers 2, 5, and 7 are standard licenses, is that right?
Correct.
So I'm just going to say this one time. So the thing to think about for extensions is absolutely in your purview as the council to grant those extensions. For these licenses that are not reserve licenses, meaning we have the limited number and at the much smaller fee, we're granting extensions which put off issuance because for these individuals have a variety of reasons. But again, it's discretionary if we grant the extension. If we don't grant the extension and that's approved by council, we would start a revocation process, so with the hope that eventually that license would be able to be issued to another entity. So that's the case for the regular licenses. There is one reserve license, and I apologize for the confusion, but I just want to mention that at one time because there's several that have an extension, which is prolonging the issuance of the license. But I don't have any underlying objections. It's just the issue of the extension. Do you have anything?
I don't have any objections either.
You're concurring?
I concur.
Can we take them all up in one roll call? Suspend the rules? Or should we take them one at a time? Okay, motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes? Ayes have it. Okay, on to item number 3 and item number 4, I'll take a motion for one roll call vote. Right? Yeah.
Motion to
Suspend
the rules.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay, ayes have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Number 5, consideration with possible action request by Madrid Tapa LLC at 225 East Walnut Street for an extension to the issuance of their Class B liquor, Class B beer license to December 2023, license granted for the 2023-2024 license year at the June 27th, 2023 for the 2023-2024 license year.
Yes, I'll just refer back to my comments from before. The previous one was issued in August and we granted an extension. This one, I'm sorry, was granted in August. This one was granted June 27th and they've asked for yet another extension and I don't believe they've provided a specific date either. So again, your choice to extend these. If you do, I would suggest that it be the last time because we'd be going at about 6 months of having a license granted that hasn't been able to be issued.
So we don't know the reason why?
This one's due to inspections.
Yeah. Still don't have a confirmed ability to open.
Were they shut down for a while?
So right now, they have no liquor license at this location.
So although maybe they're serving food, they can't serve any alcohol.
Okay.
Correct. As of July 1st.
Huh.
So we could do a recommendation to get inspections order by December, otherwise we'll...
You just grant the extension with maybe a strong note that you may not grant it again next time. But that's just the point about
All right,
this.
who would like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nays? Ayes have it. Got it? Number 6, consideration possible action on a request by Legacy Green Bay LLC at 1004 Brett Favre Pass for an extension to the issuance of the reserve Class Beer Liquor Class B beer license to November 22nd, 2023 due to delays in construction.
No objections to this one. This one is the
Reserve.
reserve license, of which we're not limited. These are the expensive licenses, if we call them
We
expensive.
currently have 28 that we can
Yes.
still take applications for.
Oh,
Yes, thank you.
Take a motion to approve.
Bob, don't you want to hear
I'm sorry?
from?
Please.
Please concur.
We're good.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Number 7, consideration with possible action on the request by Vic Theater Green Bay LLC at 217 East Walnut Street for an extension to the issuance of a Class B liquor, Class B beer license to January 31st, 2024. Common Council granted this on August 22nd. Do
I
we
have the
know
same
the
comments
reason
about
why?
this
Big-
one
Yeah,
as I did with the others. I think they're still in construction. Is that
Yeah.
right, Jamie?
Correct.
yeah. Motion to approve.
With a strong,
I-
We're just,
Deadline.
we're just discussing it, because this one would be 6 months or so.
yes,
right? Yeah.
Second.
with a strong deadline? Okay, all in
Not
favor?
necessarily, not necessarily.
Yes.
I-
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay? Ayes have it.
So just to confirm, is it just to approve with their deadline, or do I add anything else? It seems
We're
like it
just
might be
approving.
conflicting. We're just approving.
Just
Okay.
approve.
Thank
We're
you.
having a chat about this though, since
Okay.
these are coming up.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I think we've had any licenses like this where the extensions continue, but we understand there are challenges.
Yeah, it's,
We also don't always have a situation where we have no available licenses, and that's why I emphasize this, because we don't have any available licenses of the lower fee.
yeah.
Number 8, consideration of possible action on Class B liquor, Class B beer license for Taste of the South on Wheels LLC at 114 South Broadway, with a licensed premise description as behind bar and kitchen and basement, subject to the approval of the proper authorities. Filed June 30th and previously licensed at Green Dragon during the 22-23 license year. Staff?
I think the deputy clerk has some comments about their administrative paperwork.
Yes, so I did reach out and we've spoke with the applicant just about the seller's permit. They said they did apply for the one to get it into the 114 South Broadway. However, you're still waiting, if that's correct, for it to come in the mail. That is the update.
And my additional update is that I believe it's still, the exemption is still, or they're still not eligible for the exemption, meaning the restaurant qualification, unless they have more different information this evening. So the moratorium is still in place. However, you know, council can vote to waive the moratorium restriction if you so choose. But there's not a clear exemption.
Nothing here, we concur.
Okay.
And I believe
Yep, motion open the floor.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. If you could state your name and address for the record again, please.
Yes, Sarai Bowie, 1311 Liberty Street, Green Bay, Wisconsin. So we did buy equipment for the kitchen. All the inspectors came out from the city, and so we're just waiting for, we finalized that, got the last equipment today actually, but reached out to the health department Friday and sent them my application. I'm just waiting for a date to have the inspection.
So you will have done the kitchen and you will have met the moratorium requirements? Okay.
And you plan to have 51% of your business will be food?
Yes, sir.
And when are you planning on, did it say when they mailed out your permit?
I did that on like 2 weeks ago for the permit.
Okay.
Or was it last week or 2 weeks? Last week. That was last week.
Is this through the county?
Through the city.
City?
Wisconsin Department of Revenue.
Okay.
Yeah, so to be clear with the seller's permit, individuals work a little differently, so that's why upon intake, we did take that, and it's really easy. They do have a seller's permit through their mobile food, so a lot of times in these scenarios, it's just really easy to just add another location on. So that's where kind of, so we would need that prior to issuing though.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, because we talked about this previously,
Right.
and you were going to do the kitchen.
And the food will not be coming from your food truck?
No, I didn't. The inspection that I'm having for the kitchen is not involving the food truck. The truck doesn't even have a base right now, like it's not open or operating right now.
So we could approve this with finalizing inspections and permits? Or do we have to hold this?
Is the application complete?
The
Information?
The application at this time, the seller's permit is still, I'm waiting for a seller's permit that has the address of that. So
If we
normally that
approve it
doesn't get
tonight
contingent.
with that contingency, it still would have to go in front of council for approve in November.
Normally, it takes about 7 to 10 business days to get from the State Department of Revenue, so
By
would it be
November.
possible to have that
Hold one
update?
more meeting. My suggestion would be to hold one more meeting, because then we could deem the application complete, because technically we're not supposed to process an incomplete application.
I can go there tomorrow just to, if they can just hand one to me instead of me waiting for it to come in the mail.
Yeah, that might be.
When do you hope to open up?
I was hoping by November the 1st.
Oh,
Well, it doesn't start.
yeah,
Our next meeting isn't until 27th. Well, the
No.
council's the
the
7th.
council.
I'm saying, no,
But we
our
can't do
attorney
it-
says
but I
we
don't
should
think
wait till our
we-
next protection.
Yes,
policy.
because we can't bring it to council without being
Right.
finalized.
We can't do a contingent, right?
We can't say that we approve this contingent that by council, all the inspection is done and they meet the requirements of the moratorium?
That part you can, but the issue is we don't have a complete application. So the issue with inspections, we do sometimes grant them contingent upon inspections completion, but our code specifically states that we don't process incomplete applications.
So the recommendation is to hold this until next
I
protection
think so.
policy.
Does Deputy Clerk, you feel
November
differently?
27th.
You can do that, or
No, it should be one before then.
because it usually just takes
I
7
don't
to
see
10
one.
business
No,
days.
'cause of all the
and
budget
the meeting
meetings.
is until November 7th, so November 7th we'll know if the seller's permit, if we don't have it. It's up.
Because I'm assuming with the seller's permit, if it was just sent last week, plus inspections, I think it's gonna take all of the time between now and our next meeting to get those things done.
Mother?
Yeah, I think.
But this is the first time hearing about the equipment and inspections coming, so I'm not sure.
Our next meeting's 5 weeks away.
So you'd be able to,
Well, 10, yeah, it would take that long.
Yeah.
She said 7 to 10 days from the state.
Just for the.
She just did it last week, so
Yeah.
we're looking second week in November already for her to get her permit, her seller.
And then we have a council meeting December 5th after that.
so it wouldn't be approved till December 5th?
Right, that'd be 6 weeks from now. From tomorrow.
Next council's the 7th, right? And we're on the 25th, the next protection policy?
Next protection policy is
25th.
Monday the 27th.
The information is not gonna be ready for the 7th.
27th. No, but we could ask the council for permission to grant final approval. So that
Yes.
at least during if everything's all done by the 27th, if we grant it, it's a done deal. We've
Yes.
done that in the past.
Oh, okay. So it'd be
We're
fine.
figuring
here.
out what we can do for you.
I appreciate
Yeah.
thinking it over.
If that's the best that we can do, I don't.
Otherwise,
see
you
why
gotta
not.
wait till December 5th.
Yeah.
So to be clear with the provisional license, one of the allowance to issue a provisional license would be if protection policy grants a liquor license and is approved by inspections, we would be able to issue a provisional license on November 28th. So you wouldn't necessarily need that permission from council for final approving authority, because a provisional license would allow us to issue a license on November 28th.
When we say yes.
If
Oh.
you say yes on November 27th.
Oh. But then what happens if council decides not to approve it?
What do you mean council doesn't?
Well, if-
Then they don't have a license. That's the
They
provisional
just have the
license.
provisional and then it would not
Correct.
be.
A provisional
that's not gonna
license
happen.
is issued
Just wondering.
with the approval of common council, or so basically it's valid for 60 days or until a decision is made by council. So
Okay.
if council were to deny, they no longer have a license.
Okay.
If council were to approve, they
All
get
right.
their regular license.
So we don't need to even get that from, permission from council, which will make things easier. If we decide on the 27th, the next day you'd have a
Gonna back you up
provisional
5
and
weeks,
you'd be
but-
able to,
Okay. That's,
It's, might be a way we can get this through.
yeah,
okay.
thank you.
All right, motion to hold till our next meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second ones
Yep.
today.
So November
Third I
27th.
throw it in.
Okay.
Good luck getting all that.
Thank you.
Sounds like a lot of work, good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Informational with the liquor violation report, please.
I've only got one written warning for an ordinance violation, and that was given to the bar owner of Getaway Bar for a disorderly house or failure to maintain order. And that was due to the bar owner suggesting that a witness to a physical altercation do not call the police or give any information. So,
You have an address?
Getaway Bar is 631 Bellevue Street.
That's it? Perfect, thank you.
That one gets away from
Clerk's
me.
licensing report.
Okay, so much of the agenda was anyone who was a little over on their time, they went to get approval, so they have those exemptions granted. And at this time, the city clerk's office has no available liquor licenses.
Thank you. Motion to receive and place on file.
Motion to receive and place it on file.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Motion to adjourn it.
Second.
Motion to adjourn it.
Oh, I thought you just sang a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nays? All right, we're now adjourned.
Okay, Randy.
That's 3-1 now, I got on the record.